Hey, I'm Dustin with Poor Man's Poison, and the video I created here is kind of long, and it takes a closer look at the making of In the End. When I show friends and family as they see it kind of progress here in the beer room, I feel that it helps create this emotional attachment to it. It's more focused on the music and what we did to create it, not necessarily the engineering side of things or mastering or what types of EQ and compression I'm using or anything too technical like that. I'll have Ryan here with me to help dissect some things, and we'll talk a little bit about the lyrics and, you know, where the inspiration may have came from. But it's more so just to invite you into the Pro Tools session and see, you know, what our friends and family see, and hopefully create that emotional attachment to the music that they have. I hope you enjoy it. This first session we're going to talk about is Good People. So I'll play a little piece of it first.
What if all they lost was all they had? What if they were broken, just looking for a hand? If you could help or walk away, if that choice was up to you, what would you do? What if it were you? Where did all the good people go?
Stop it real quick. So this one, it's pretty cut and dry. Where did all the good people go? But I got the idea for that just because it seems like ever since, well, for a long time, but ever since 2019 was when the pandemic first, it's just like everyone's gone to shit, like just crazy. There was so much horrible negative stuff going on, still going on. That question popped in my head. Where the hell are all the good people? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it got to a point where I didn't even want to be around or watch social media or be around people. I would get anxiety going out in public, and I just wanted to be with my wife or by myself. It was just, the world was pretty disgusting.
Yeah, with a lot of these, Ryan will have some sort of hook or whatever. It might be a basic guitar melody, and then normally he'll write the chorus first, so he might come to the table with the chorus, which in this case, that's what happened. And so we had that chorus, we kind of made the foundation of the song. How many choruses, how many verses, the bridge, build the song so that we can all kind of write to it, because it's so hard for all of us to get together in the same room. Later on, he wrote these verses, which I think he did a freaking great job of like driving home what he was saying. At first I just heard it and I was like, where'd all the good people go?
That's it.
Like, that's really it? Like, we'll see where this goes.
So, but when I do that, I feel like the chorus is the statement of the song, right? And then your verses are like your supporting arguments for that statement, right? And that's how I approach songs.
Yeah. We do add a lot of things. Obviously, we're, you know, guitar, mandolin, upright bass is like the staples of what Poor Man's is. But then we'll have, you know, occasional banjo or the banjo-lele, like in Feed the Machine, and then Give and Take. We'll sprinkle in whatever. Lately, we've been using like little kick drum hits, shakers, maybe an occasional piano just to kind of help open things up a little bit.
Cymbal swells, mood things.
Without going over the top to like take away from what the foundation of Poor Man's was.
Yeah.
In the beginning, it has that piano thing, and it kind of goes to that reverse section. Then once the song started, we wanted to keep it really like minimal. It should be like more about the empty space than the actual sound itself, to me. On the chorus, each chorus we kind of build more and more. So there's more of the where did all harmonies that kind of back Ryan up here.
Where did all the good people go?
And then Tommy did a freaking great job coming out of this first verse. I love how delicate his mandolin was.
So where did all the good people go?
This is my favorite part. Just minimal, you know, but to the point.
was all you had.
And so as the song progressed, we kind of are building more and more of the harmonies, which eventually will end with how big the ending is. And then the bridge. We needed something to kind of break up the song, and there's not much of a change. It was more of just a break and a place for space. We ended up throwing this muted trumpet in there. Originally it was a scratch track, the placeholder, but then it started kind of growing on us, and now it's one of my favorite parts.
Where did all the good people go? Where did all the good people
And right here we added a few extra harmonies to try to build up.
looking?
So the whole song is almost like a big
Don't quite
crescendo.
feel like I belong. So where did all the good people go?
It's pretty typical for us to do like a double chorus at the end to kind of build it, where we can really drive it home and then build up those two choruses to like this pinnacle moment.
Where did all the good people go? Where did all the good people go? I keep looking around. I don't quite feel like I belong. So where did all the good people go?
And on this last part, when he recorded the scratch track, I'm like, I need you to like belt that stuff out. The old Done for Good days. You need to do like a Done for Good part. And
I didn't want to.
It needs it. As calm and spacious as the song is, that like needs that moment where it can just be, I don't know. I think it came out freaking awesome. And then obviously we have the piano kind of building too during this break.
People go. Where did all the good people go? Where did all the good people? Where did all the good people go? Where did all the good people? I keep looking around. I don't quite feel like I belong. Where did all the good people go?
The piano part I freaking love right there. And then with the big vocals, we have the Done for Good vocal, I call it. And then again, this is like the most harmonies we'll have on the Where Did Alls.
Where did all?
Huge reverb.
Where did all?
We've wanted kind of a call and response thing going on.
Where did all? Where did all the good people go? Where did all the good people go?
And then my favorite harmony in this, probably the whole record, is this chunk here. And this we wrote on piano. We wrote out what melodies we wanted to capture in there, and so that they were changing at different times.
Like an orchestra.
Yeah, and then we tracked each one of the notes with two voices in unison, so that we could kind of pan them off and get them off of each other and create room for like the lead and things that cut through, because there's a lot of vocals going on here. This is that break here. Here's all the
We even
vocals
ditched
here.
a bunch of vocals because they
Yeah.
just would have never cut through the mix. You would have never heard them really.
Already there's so much that gets hidden, which is why I wanted to do this so bad, to talk about it. Here's just the vocals on this last chorus.
Where did all the good people go? 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 I keep looking around, I don't quite feel like I belong. Where did all the good people go?
And the question is still valid. Where'd they all go?
Yeah. Give and take. I don't know if we knew right off the bat we wanted to make it as like a part 2 to Feed the Machine.
I remember we talked about it and I thought it would be a good idea since everything's still happening, it's still going on. It's not over. You know what I mean? And I felt like it, not that it didn't end well, but just it could use kind of the rest of the story, like an outcome or just anything.
And it starts with samples because I felt like starting it right off the bat without the samples that we had in here just like didn't really, I feel like it didn't like flow well, which is fine, but I felt like the samples kind of could act as a transition between Good People into this song. And again, there's some huge group vocals in this thing. We probably did, one mic with the 4 of us around it.
Like 10 or 15 times or something.
Yeah, for each chunk.
We did our best to make it sound like a group without actually being able to fit a group in the room, because you can't fit a big group in here.
And it's how we did Feed the Machine.
That's how we did Feed the Machine too.
I mean, when you do the math, it's like, 80 or 90 of us stacked up to create that and kind of randomize it a little bit and then pan them all over the place so that we kind of have this huge group type vibe going on. As far as instrumentation on this, it's pretty basic. That's when we put in like the banjo-lele to kind of have that circusy kind of vibe. Let's just take a look at just the instrumentation. I just love that circusy.
And that's the thing, that's what I was going to talk about too. Like the gypsy, circusy vibe.
For the chorus, I just wanted to slap the bass. I have parts that are pizzicato and then tracks that are slapping because it kind of takes a different approach as far as miking it.
Solo up that bass. Get some real good, I don't know what you call them, when it knocks, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're good, bro.
I get by. And then we wanted some sort of driving force behind it, so we added like the clap kind of things. So later on in the song, you get more of the stomps and the bassiness, but we want to build it as that goes on.
Yeah, just kind of introduce it until it gets to like this big thing at the end.
Yeah.
Same idea. We like crescendos.
Mm-hmm. The vocals, that's where I feel like everything really shined. It started out super cool and it sounded clean. Then when we started coming up with all these cool melodies and we had like that call response thing, like look around, what do you know?
Yeah, that was the thing. Definitely wanted to make happen, especially with the gypsy style, circusy style song. A gypsy style, what I mean is like when chords are right next to each other, and it kind of gives you like this kind of a creepy vibe, kind of like gypsy circusy,
Yeah.
Like who does it really well?
Caravan of Thieves.
Caravan of Thieves. If you're like that kind of style, check that band out.
With this, we just added tons of harmonies. Same principle where we'll have maybe if it's a 3 or 4 part harmony, or maybe they're doing different melodies. We'll do 2 takes. And it helps to kind of divide things up. And by having that unison voices like that, I can like pan them way off and make sure that center lead vocal is super focused and in your face and not getting lost. And on the first call and response, Ryan had this idea of like to me it sounded super circusy. I picture the top hat guy in the circus tent being like, what do you know?
Yeah, totally. That's exactly what I pictured in my head. I was hoping we could pull that off.
We got our buddy Scooter Lookale to do that part because he's got this super
gravelly.
super gravelly voice. So he's like the lead one on that chunk, and then we kind of back him up, and then eventually it turns to group vocals. But this is,
Where's he at? Oh, there
let's
he
see
is.
here.
Look around, what do you know?
Yeah,
Look around, what do you see?
here's his lead one.
Look around, what do you know?
Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
Look around, what do you see?
Once we add in everybody, and then we have the, consolidated group.
Look around, what do you know? Look around, what do you see?
And then as the song progresses, the group becomes more prominent, and it's less of like the direct stuff.
Look around, what do you know?
Damn place is about to blow.
Look around, what do you see?
I see the
But these other harmonies, all these oohs, man, they freaking sounded so good to me. Let's just solo some of those up and kind of dissect that a little bit.
They're coming for us now. Coming for us now. Somehow they found us out. They found no sudden moves, don't make a sound. They're out for blood this time around. We gotta burn it all down. Today's the day, revolution's on its way. Our time is now, hold the line. This
Kinda
is
barbershop
how we'll
quartet-y.
be defined. Just stand your ground. Give and take only works when both sides really give and take. The revolution's on its way.
Yeah, I
A lot of
freaking
stacking.
love this stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
And same thing with the chorus. Those oohs sounded so cool. We like kept kind of going overboard with it, but
It's way up there.
yeah.
Me. Oh, oh, get ready for the war. They're
I think I was inspired by maybe a thrice track or something. It's just about pay attention to what's going on around you, you know what I mean? Like some people I know, they just live in a bubble. They have no idea what's going on. They think the world is an amazing place right now and everything's hunky-dory. And they just go to Starbucks and do whatever they want, but they don't pay attention to what's going on in the world. They don't pay attention. So it's in a sense, it doesn't really affect them until it's too late, right? Because eventually it will. And they'll be like, well, where the hell was I? And we'll be like, well, where the hell were you? Basically kind of like, just keep your eyes open because
Yeah.
things are happening.
The bridge, we kind of broke it up a little, just basically like a halftime, kind of let the chords ring out. Which seemed really boring when we did it. We're like, man, this bridge freaking.
But that's the thing. It's a song. There's only so many chords, right? There's
Yeah.
only so many things you could do with music. We're not rewriting the book, you know what I mean? But if you can get creative, you can
Yeah.
make it your own. You can make it, as cool as you can.
I needed to thicken it up just a hair, like instrumentally, because of all that space. So I put some piano chords in the back to kind of help spread everything a little bit. Then Tommy's tremolo.
Yeah. Tremolo. See? I never even heard that piano chord until right now.
Really?
I swear.
There's so much going on in this part of the song too. So the lead vocal, we wanted it to kind of ring out, so it made us where we had to kind of do like 2 takes.
Almost a call and return thing in a sense with just the
They're
lead.
coming now, yeah, they're right outside the door. Break us down more. They want it all. They're gonna try to take us all. They wanna see us fall. Get ready for the war.
There's that, and then we wrote some things on the piano to create these harmonies, and then we recorded them. We're like, dang, these freaking suck. So I almost like gutted everything, but then as we started layering the other harmonies that go with the lead, then all of a sudden they started like working really well
Together, though.
Yeah, and started building up this like melody. So here's just the harmonies that go with the lead on that bridge.
Inside the door, break us down more. They want it all. They're gonna try to take us all. They wanna see us fall. Get ready for the war.
And then the stuff we wrote on piano, I kind of slowly trickled into the mix there.
Dude, that's cool.
So with all the vocals on that part.
The door, break us down more. They want it all. They're gonna try to take us all. They wanna see us fall. Get ready for the war.
We don't really do a lot of that on some of our older stuff. So this is like experimenting for us as well. You know, we did that with some Dumb for Good stuff.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot, but with Poor Man's, we didn't really venture too far into the production side too much. You wanted to be able to pull off a lot of things live and different things because of everything going on. It was like, let's just make some good music then.
Yeah.
Let's just put everything we can into a song.
We were super bare bones before, and part of it was paying homage to what, you know, folk and that style of music is, which we knew nothing about when we got into.
No, we're all from like metal and shit.
Which is why the first album was like all over the place. Like we were trying to figure out like, what do we even do? What do we do with these things? And so
It really is, huh?
yeah. And then we're slowly kind of honed in what our sound was. Now it's like,
We don't even know what to call it.
yeah. And if you call it folk
It's folky.
or bluegrass,
It's not bluegrass.
people get really
They
upset.
get
about
mad.
it. So we don't know what we call it. That's why we call it folk rock, because it's basically rock with folk instruments. So on this bridge, we also bring in a little like kick and tambourine. We're slowly building this up towards this double chorus.
Outside the door. They wanna see us fall. Get ready for
And then into the chorus, which again, the double chorus. So we're gonna build it bigger and bigger, and this is where I start to have a bunch of group vocals.
Look around, what do you know?
this whole damn place is about to blow.
Look around, what do you see?
I see the wolves at bay coming after me. Oh, 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 get ready for the war. They're coming now, yeah, they're right outside the door.
Look around, what do you know?
This whole damn place is about to blow.
Look around, what do you see?
I see the wolves at bay coming after me. Oh, 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 get ready for the war.
They're coming now and they're right outside the
They're
door.
coming now, yeah, they're right outside the door.
We try to like keep things building where there's some new element being unleashed at that time, but without doing too much in any given moment, so it's not overwhelming. So like you hear like the double time shaker, I think.
They're right outside the door.
Look around,
This whole damn place is about to blow.
look around.
Start dropping things in, just building the song.
Yeah, so we have somewhere in here I have kicks. Here we are. And then our big group vocals. Any excuse to do group vocals, I'm down.
Look around, what do you know?
This whole damn place is about to blow.
Look around, What do you see?
I see the wolves at bay coming after me. Oh, 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 get ready for the war.
They're coming now and they're right outside the
They're
door.
coming now, yeah, they're right outside the door.
Anything else you want to touch up on?
So that with the artwork and everything for this song and like kind of the vibe and you know, as far as the rest of the story is concerned, this is about, it doesn't matter kind of, we always say we're not going to talk politics, we're not going to talk religion. That's not why we write music, but we're all people, right? So we don't care if you're a Republican, we don't care if you're libertarian or Democrat or liberal or conservative, whatever, we don't care. We don't care. The thing is, we're all people. And there is a thing that I think is, I think we all kind of think that, but a little bit of, sometimes the government's overreaching on some things, and it's like, maybe they don't have your best interests at all times. And this is and this doesn't even have to be about America, because there's things happening all over the world right now within these people's governments. It's almost like, hey, it's coming, so get ready. Be ready when it does come, because these people are powerful. But if we stand together, you can't have a voice, you can't make a difference type thing. You know, no matter what you believe, we're all humans.
When we were thinking about what the heck we should do with this, we knew we wanted to have like the, you know, our happy robot waiter guy kind of head
Dismantled.
pulled off to kind of symbolize that. I didn't want it to have such a negative connotation either. So it's,
Yeah. Because honestly, that's what it's about, give and take. If both sides were really giving and taking like they should, things would probably be a lot better or a lot easier for a lot of people, but it's just not, it doesn't seem to be that way.
I always tell my wife, everything's gray. Like
Great.
the answer's always in the middle.
Don't get all conspiracy theorists and reading it too far. We just explained exactly where our stance is, so.
So Stronger Than Whiskey, as far as like how it came about, is we went to high school with a couple brothers, and recently one of them started having liver failure from drinking, and the doctor told him, like, you know, he can't be doing it anymore, and needless to say, he died. When that happened, we had his brother come over. I just remember he was like, man, he just wasn't stronger than the whiskey. I'm like,
That's a song
That's
name right there.
I told him I'm gonna write that song. That's what inspired it. We don't know all the ins and outs and the details of his thing. It's more of like how we could.
It's like a vague generalization of what could happen with a family that's going through something like that.
Yeah, and dealing with that struggle. I let him know, like, hey man, we're making this a song, so you should probably come over here and hear this before anyone else does. He did, and he's like, if it helps one person out there, then it's worth it. We get messages all the time about how, you know, whatever music helped them with whatever.
It's humbling, to say the least. Some of this, you know,
yeah,
the people that hit us up in private messages and tell us about their life and what they go through, and like how maybe one of our songs has helped them.
Yeah.
And it's just like, no way. It's like what I'm saying, where'd all the good people go? You could help someone without even knowing it. This song, it's weird how it came together, because he was in like a songwriting class or something, just to get, we've done a lot of research lately on formulation of songs. So what makes a song grab someone, and what is it? And there's a lot of different elements that come into play, but we dove right into it and just tried to figure out how we can write
more efficiently.
More
than
efficiently.
anything. Because it's so hard to put out stuff fast as I would like to put it out, especially me, because I feel like I'm always like busting everybody's balls. I had a lot of free time, so I just can't sit still. I gotta I could utilize that time to learn something. And so
He's always learning.
So first I went to the songwriting class and did that whole thing, and that's how this kind of came about. I had some ideas in my head, and I had this guitar riff that was like 3 different parts.
So I came over and I was like, are you kidding me? There was no words.
Yeah.
I was like, can we use this for Poor Man's Poison?
I told him, hey, bro, I'm writing Stronger Than Whiskey because you haven't yet. It's like, light the fire. And so he just grabs a notebook and goes outside and just like, while I'm laying down whatever tracks, and then he just comes back with the chorus like that. Took my breath away little bit.
I couldn't. So I could write it out and I could hear it and everything, and I was like, oh, that'll rhyme well. It'll wrap up nice with those amount of syllables and these notes and stuff. But then when I actually put it together and I sang it, and then but when I heard it, you have to separate yourself from how close you are, maybe with the affected parties, to get a good take, to get a good vocal, a good guitar take and everything like that. But once you allow yourself to come back into the emotion of what it's actually about
and hear it in context,
it's just like, I showed my wife and I started tearing up. I was like, oh no, it's just sad, but it's the truth.
And the whole vibe of this was supposed to be super sparse and that real big fluffy kind of kick drum, and then the big tambourine, but just
real minimal.
Sparse.
Sometimes you gotta let a song breathe and do its own thing.
Yeah.
Dive
Let's
into
listen
it.
to this.
There he goes again, lost in the drink. The bottle's half empty as he tries not to sink. There he goes again. He lost control again. The drink takes him down. Despair in his eyes as he tries not to drown. There he goes again.
So real spacious, like minimal harmonies. Whenever we tracked the guitar, it sounded like the really high parts of a piano, and so I kept hearing in my head like it needs to be accented.
Just minimal too.
Just a little candy.
Candy.
But you could hear the guitar one.
Oh, like right there. I always think that's a piano, bro.
Yeah, there's not even a piano right there. That's just the guitar doing that.
Right there.
That's what inspired it. It almost has no place. It's the only time it happens, but it was just spacious enough to be able to do it.
So as we're writing this tune, the chorus was the first thing, and it just, sometimes it's really hard to write a song, but sometimes it just comes to you real fast, and this was one of those times.
This was the chorus.
Worse for the wear, empty glass, empty stare. And he tried to outrun his history and his kids and his wife. Fought like hell for his life. They tried. In the end it ain't a mystery. He said, show me the way, don't give up on me today. See, I tried. If anybody's listening, but they're broken down now as he lies in the ground. They tried. They just weren't stronger than the whiskey.
I remember thinking like, well, in my mind, I pictured like he wasn't stronger than the whiskey, but then when you wrote it like that, I was like, oh, his family wasn't stronger than the whiskey to him. It was cool that on the second chorus, how we spun it around into that way where...
Because really he wasn't, you know? But his family wasn't either. It wasn't enough. And I've heard people say, if I'm not enough, if you're not going to change, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a hard one.
The second chorus.
If anybody's listening, but they're broken down now as he lies in the ground. He tried. He wasn't stronger than the whiskey. He wasn't stronger than the whiskey.
And then the pre-chorus, Ryan kind of turned it to like this, like a conversation between him and his wife.
Or him and his family, basically, just him and
She
anyone.
says, don't give in now. We still need you. I still need you around. He says, I don't know how, but I still need you to save me somehow. There he goes again.
We don't know the circumstances, but we just kind of put a vague depiction together of what it might be like for a family struggling in that exact predicament.
Let's just listen to these vocals at the end. This is the only time that gets some harmonies going.
Worse for the wear, empty glass, empty stare, and he tried to outrun his history, and his kids and his wife fought like hell for his life. They tried. In the end, it ain't a mystery. He said, show me the way, don't give up on me today. See, I tried. If anybody's listening, but they're broken down now as he lies in the ground. He tried. He wasn't stronger than the whiskey.
Pretty bare bones.
It ties into it. I think all of it just ties into where did all the good people go? The whole E EP.
So that's Stronger Than the Whiskey. So we wanted to make an intro to start this whole thing off. I felt like it just needed to be, and that's what eventually led to it being more of a themed thing. I wanted to feature some of these things that are just buried in the mix, all the vocal harmonies and cool elements that are...
They get lost.
Originally I was like, well, maybe I'll just remix a bunch of things and, you know, pitch shift it and match the beat and like make a random remix of all the pieces.
Like a mashup of pieces of all the songs.
And Ryan's like, why don't you just do like a radio tuning or whatever?
I mean, I know it's been done before, but I mean...
But it was perfect. So that's what I did. I found, you know, different radio things and kind of started splicing it up and then featuring parts of the song that I felt like needed to be heard, I guess. Well, I'll just find articles that kind of pertain to the meaning of each song and then create my own headline based on that and then record those. We kind of hit on each part of the song, the meaning of it, and then me and Ryan kind of been messing around with this side project with Dr. Villain where it's just all electronic and it's random as hell. The first song we finished was This Is the End, about suicide, a hardcore song, but it's called This Is the End. And it worked so perfect. I took the radio tuning samples and kind of spliced them up. And then I did an EQ matching thing. And then I analyzed it and scanned it to make a subgroup that mimics the overall frequency response of the tuned radio. All of our music is going through there so that it sounds more like it blends in with the radio.
Right.
It's like without it.
Get ready for the war.
Like this, for instance.
Get right outside the door. Break us down more. They want it all.
Oh, yeah.
They're gonna try to take us.
Then when I
It
put
just
that
sounds too
filter-
clean like that. There you go. Yeah.
They want it all.
kind of AMifies it a little bit, but I wanted to match as much as I could that frequency response. And so I did the same thing with the newsreels.
You see, the pandemic raises new concerns about excessive drinking, and this alcohol abuse has made an ongoing health crisis even worse.
And I just smashed the hell out of these vocals because they sound super clean. Smashed the heck out of them and
It means compression.
just, yeah. And just distorted them like way more than I ever would. So here's Peter Pollux.
You know, the awful truth is, when we hear about those less fortunate than ourselves, and we wish there was something we can do, we simply move on.
So with all the processing on it, and distortion, and compression, and limiting, and de-essing.
You know, the awful truth is, when we hear about those less fortunate than ourselves, and we wish there was something we can do, we simply move on.
You get that noise in the back.
Yeah, it brings
it
that up.
sounds like, obviously, not a lot of people have a radio that does that anymore, where you turn the dial and whatnot. But
And then we have Mike's dad on this tape.
New research is blaming the echo chambers created by social media
I like
for the
it.
polarization of the country.
And then Katie.
The CDC reports suicide attempts rose 51% since 2020.
And then when This Is the End kicked in, because that big old fluffy bass hit and all that leading into Good People, we wanted to come out of that AMified thing and be more of the, like a full range kind of sound.
2020.
This is the end.
leads in to Good People.
I placed Good People here just as a reference. I was like, yeah,
that's pretty smooth.
that's a perfect way to kick this thing off. So that's the intro.
That's the intro.
For the outro, we needed something just to wrap the thing up, and I wanted to keep it as short as possible. Because of the tuning radio thing, I wanted some way that we can incorporate like turning off the radio.
Reminds me of like maybe one of my grandmother's old radios or something, that when it sounds just like that click.
I had to combine a few things to create that, and I used a sample actually of a CD player, like clicking here. And then I had
That's a CD player?
yeah, and then this was part of our radio swell to have some of that in there, and then I needed that TV noise with like the crescendo kind of. So when combined with the CD player and that as close as I can get to how I envisioned it. I want to have some way to turn off things, but what are we even going to create? Then I had this dream about...
This guy has dreams. And this is where all the good ideas come from, and it trips me out.
I had this dream that I had these little kids playing violin, and I had their tracks. And I used that, and then I reversed our music to create this thing. But when I don't have those violin tracks. So instead I was like, well, we had those awesome violin and cello dude from Walking Dead, and then the Game of Thrones lead cello guy on Let Us All Down. Maybe let me find out what keys things are in, and like maybe pitch shift. Maybe I can create something out of that. Basically use the strings from a part of that song, pitch shifted 2 semitones, and then I took the guitars from Stronger Than the Whiskey and Good People, and I reversed them, kind of played them in a different order.
Because Stronger Than the Whiskey and Good People they're really close.
If you map it out on a piano, they use the same scale, but they're in different keys. So I knew those would go well together. The tempo was slightly off, so I kind of did some time stretching to kind of match what I could. We also want to make sure it started on a B minor, because that's the chord that Stronger Than the Whiskey ended on. And then we wanted to kind of prelude what Good People was. So that way if someone was to repeat it, like you kind of get that melody kind of in your head already, and then, you know, the song would start, give or take the intro. We created it, and I wanted to get it right around 30 seconds. And then Ryan's like, when you're done editing that, I got an idea.
I always have ideas while he's editing. I'm like, hear me out.
Yeah. So he came up with the idea of like the whole movie scene with like the daughter and a dad, like plant that seed to loop the record. The next day we got my niece in here, and then a friend of ours.
We got another buddy who's like got a super gravelly voice, and him and Scooter or Lookalay are like best friends. And they both have like the voices, right?
Yeah.
So we got Scooter for the other one. Hey, let's pull Luke in for this one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's gonna sound great. He's got the best deep voice.
And then we pictured this like music box when it all swells and like goes away.
Oh, that was the other idea.
So we kind of just mapped it out on the piano, and then found as close as I could with like a Fender Rhodes.
Just play that real quick. Play the music box. Well, the wannabe music box. Close as we could find, right? Work with what you got.
And I tried to just make it more attacky and take out a lot of the sustain with some of these. Movement, EQ, and here I'm taking out a lot of the attack.
So the beginning starts with our...
Like Stronger Than the Whiskey and Good People.
Mainly.
Reversed. And then the string section from Let Us All Down.
String section from Let Us All Down. And then halfway through, we actually take them from reverse and put them back to normal, but there's still some reverse stuff going on.
So here's kind of what we end up with.
Are we the good people? the good people.
And that, just those words right there, just children, so young, so innocent, living in an adult world, especially with the craziness going on, they're taught. They don't just, they start out innocent and they're taught, good or bad, right? So we all do good, right? We all do good, we all do bad. You don't want to do bad, but we do. It's a fact of life, and it's the balance of it. It's like, can I do more good than I can do bad?
The other thing was, we wanted him to struggle with those words. I want you to contemplate it, like, dang, are we good people? Like, we're always going to be good people.
But then you think about the shit you've done that's not good. Well, I wasn't good then.
That's why we wanted to call it the struggle, because I wanted, one, for him to struggle with his words when we try to get that take, and two, it's the struggle of those small decisions, the daily decisions of doing the right thing or doing the wrong thing, taking the shopping cart back. Something simple and stupid as that. It's all the little things that add up to make the big difference in the world. So trying to emphasize the little things, and that's the struggle. For the parts of the songs that are in there, we have, good people here in reverse. And then preluding into the song itself. For Strong Whiskey, it sounded kind of crazy, so I used just pieces.
Yeah, it just puts a jumble on it. I like that.
And I kept hearing that, dun, 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 trying to create that out of those backwards pieces with just the backwards stuff we got. Yeah, they freaking nailed this whole piece at the end.
Are we the good people?
Yeah, we're always going to be the good people.
And it was hard to get a 4-year-old to do the take that you want. Why she had to act sad, which was weird to her. Let me see if we got
taught.
I'm not going to say it like that.
Yeah.
Are we good people?
She's the best.
Try to just like coax her into it.
Are we?
I was like, just say a piece. Like, are we
Are we
good people?
good people?
And then on another, no, try to go higher on good people.
Good people?
And I knew with that I could like create what I wanted, but then she started getting warmed up.
Are we still the good people?
I was like, dang, that's
She's
good.
so cute.
Are we still the good people?
And that's the take I used. Later it was like, I don't need steel in there. Then when we got the dude to come play her dad,
Good old Luke. This is for you, Luke.
We'll always be the good people.
it was like he was like just reading it or something. It's like, yeah, bro, we'll always be the good people.
Yeah, honey. We're always going to be the good people.
But it just didn't have that authenticity. So then I took pieces of Evie's thing and looped it so that he would respond to it each time.
Are we still the good people?
Yes, honey. We're always going to be the good people.
And it was already like a little more like somber and a little more character in his voice.
Yeah, sweetie. We're always going to be the good people.
And then he started messing around, like talking about killing zombies.
Let's kill them fucking zombies. Sorry.
Like no one could hold back on the mic. Then I was like, do the same thing, but have some hesitation.
Are we still the good people?
Yeah. Well, we're always going to be the good people.
So that's kind of what I used right there, but I took pieces of his breaths and then I tried to stretch him as far as I could without it sounding bad, to try to space him out, create a little more of like hesitancy in it.
Yeah, sweetie. We're always going to be the good people.
Are we?
Combination of a lot of things on that. It became one of my favorite parts of the whole EP.
Are we the good people?
Yeah. We're always going to be the good people.
Yeah, that came out really good. So that's us.
That's in the end.
It's a process for us because we can't ever get together, but we made it work. Appreciate you guys listening and sharing and all that.
And supporting our humble cause and allowing us to do this for more than us sitting around in a beer room listening to it in our families at a barbecue.
We really hope some of these songs like resonate with the people. And let us know if it does, you know?
Or if it's total letdown. Or just,
Yeah, if you fucking hate it, let us know. Please. That's great.
All right. Till next time.
Peace.